Forward!
Hard work, hard work. Hard work, hard work. Hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work. Hard work, hard work. Hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work. Hard work.
Fall in. So basically, y'all know what it is. Y'all see what's going on. It's going down. There's only two factions of teams that could actually really say something today on this day. And after this day of you won, good morning. I'm gonna say all you high speed yet. Y'all know what it is. It's me, Trey the Commission. We got Bishop, we got the People's Coach, and we're gonna talk a little bit about get a little more in depth to what's about to go down today. Super Bowl 58. Let's go. What's going on, brothers? How you doing this morning?
What's good, man? What's good? WGO, WGO, WGO. What's going on? How y'all living, man? It's your boy Bishop, man. How y'all? I know y'all ain't seen me in a good little while, man, but I'm still here. So I'm glad to be on, First Formation as always. Good to see Trey and CC on this joint, still getting it in, whatnot, so forth and so on. Like he said, there's two teams left on the block to battle it out on who's gonna be victorious. We see who he says, but CC, before we had our little intro, I need you to do one thing for me, CC. I wanted you to do this before we went live, but I need you to do this, and I know you're good at this. I need you to reflect back to this time last year, right? I need you to reflect back and think about some of the things in which I said about a particular individual, which we're going to talk about, y'all. We're going to talk about, but a particular individual who's in this Super Bowl. And I need you to CC to remember, recount it. Oh, TC just left. He must have a bad connection. I need him to recount, but we're going to talk about recount what exactly was said by this young gentleman right here who's got all this 49er gear on, and anybody else that was watching during that time frame. I need y'all to comment, because this dude here, man, I have receipts, and this dude don't make me pull up them receipts, guy. Don't make me pull up them receipts.
So what we did discuss and talk about, it makes which I did, and like I said, I did not discredit this person in which you're talking about. I didn't discredit. Now, what I said is
you didn't give him credit either. Now, okay, you might. No, you did not. No, you did not. No, you did not. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead. No, you did not. But go ahead. Please, CC, get on. Please, CC, get back on. Please, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. CC,
I did not discredit.
CC. You remember this time last year, right? Y'all see, I'm wearing you last year's Super Bowl, man, because it was Black History, and then we had two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. So I'm wearing last year's Super Bowl.
What's up?
But this is my thing, right? CC. Last year, right? You remember this gentleman right here over here with the San Francisco gear on? He was high on a young man in which the 49ers drafted. You remember that? He was high on what's his name?
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. Oh, Trey. That's right, because his name was Trey. That's right, Trey Lance. He was high on Trey Lance, very high on Trey Lance. I told him last season when Brock Purdy came and did all that Brock Purdy did for the 49ers, leading them up to the NFC Championship game, which we played them in the NFC Championship game. We played them. I said, Brock Purdy is y'all quarterback. I said, it's not Trey Lance. Oh no. Trey Lance is going to win. He's going to be the quarterback. He's going to be our starter. Brock Purdy, he had a good season, but good. Hey, baby. Bubbles, yeah, you got to put something in it, baby. I said Brock Purdy going to be y'all future quarterback. He's going to be that dude. This Trey here, other way. This Trey here on my screen. This Trey here, nah. First thing I said, they should have got rid of Trey Lance. And they did. They did. Trey Lance was shipped out over to Dallas. I told Trey that was going to happen. It happened. Now look at where we are today. And who's behind center? That young man in which I spoke highly of, Brock Purdy, who I said was that dude. I said Brock Purdy is that guy. Trey, I said that. You was the one that said, nah, he's not him. That's not him. He can't do that for us. He's not this guy. Yet and still, here we are. And you were saying?
So as I was saying, what's going on, AP? What's going on? How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm still here, man. I'm still here.
So one thing I will point out is I did say that what I was saying is that Brock Purdy, although he did exactly what he had done, and even Kyle Shanahan has now come on. Kyle Shanahan has even now come out and said, even after they drafted him and he's seen him, he's like, he is our future, right? So, but for me, I was looking at the point of they have to give Trey Lance an opportunity due to the fact of they gave up so much capital for him that he had to give an opportunity, and that's why I was saying, regardless of
Thank you. I thank you, AP. I know somebody. Thank you, AP. Thank you. So, you remember that, CC? You remember that, CC?
I did. I would say that I did, but it was basically. But that's what I said, that they have to give Trey Lance the opportunity due to how he was.
Did they give him a chance?
No, because they didn't. Because they had. Remember, they had no choice. Because you remember, we still had Jimmy Garoppolo. But Jimmy,
y'all got rid of him. But y'all got rid of him way before, though. Y'all got rid of Jimmy during the offseason.
Jimmy was supposed to. We didn't get rid of him. What we did is told him that he would be able to bounce at the end of the season. All he had to do, and he got paid X amount of dollars for each game that he played in. So but they wasn't expecting Jimmy Garoppolo to be the starter. They expecting Jimmy Garoppolo to be the backup. They expected Trey Lance to be the starter. Trey Lance got injured, which put Jimmy Garoppolo in the game, which made Jimmy Garoppolo was cooking. Then Jimmy got injured, and then in comes Brock, and then Brock got to cooking and been cooking ever since.
And been cooking ever since.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? So that's what made. So yes, Trey Lance would have had an opportunity. It was that ball was placed in his hand. He didn't want to give him an opportunity.
Hold on. What you won't do, Trey, is okay, after y'all lost to us in the NFC Championship game, why didn't Trey Lance get his opportunity? Because it was off season. Trey Lance had an opportunity to prove himself against Brock Purdy. What happened? He didn't get traded until the season after the season started. Trey Lance didn't get traded. So my point is, why didn't he outbeat? I know. So why didn't he outbeat? He got what?
He got outplayed.
Oh, like I said he would, right? I told you Brock Purdy was better than Trey Lance. Nah. Didn't I said that.
So is Brock Purdy better than Trey Lance? Let's put it out there. Is he better than Trey Lance?
CC.
Who's playing right now? Is he not playing?
Well, so let's put a perspective, right? Let's put the perception perspective.
Who's playing right now?
True that. Perspective and perception. In state is Brock Purdy has more experience than Trey. I mean, Brock Purdy has more experience than Trey Lance.
Does he now? Now he does, but he didn't.
He's had it the whole time. Trey Lance played one season
Brock Purdy played how many seasons?
He played 3. He was at Iowa State.
Oh, his second season. This is Brock Purdy's second season.
No, he played 3. I'm talking about as a quarterback in general. Let's be honest. They went with Trey Lance off the tangibles in which they seen for him and what he brought and what he was trying to do in Kyle Shanahan's system. And that's what got him. That's what got him where he was. We talked about this before, I believe. If Justin Fields was the same, was built the same way in which Trey Lance was, it would have been Trey Lance. It would have been Justin Fields instead of Trey Lance. I think they seen and visualized Trey Lance as a Cameron Newton type of body where they could use him on all the to be able to pound the rock and all that type of stuff. And that's what gave him the nod over Justin Fields. So that's what I'm saying. But Brock Purdy, for instance, he had more collegiate games. We seen Trey Lance 1 year in which he won the Division III title. The following year was a COVID year, so we didn't see him. And the following year after that was his junior year, which afforded him the opportunity to come out in the draft, and they drafted him. He didn't have any experience as a quarterback. I mean, as a collegiate quarterback, he had, so it wasn't much tape to go off of except for that one season. When you look at Brock Purdy, he was more built for it. So I wouldn't say that he was going to do bad. I was just saying based off of what they gave up for Trey Lance, they was going to give him an opportunity for them to go ahead and be like, you know what, we did or didn't, and they had to eat that eventually. And now he's in Dallas, potentially pushing. And that's why I said, is he better? Once it comes out, if he gets some repetitions and the opportunity to play, is Brock Purdy still going to be considered better than Trey Lance, or does Trey Lance actually have something? And now we're going to have to wait to see, and it won't be with San Fran. I don't know what even be with Dallas.
I will say this, right? And CC, please chime in after I say this. I will give you this. It's unfair to compare the two because of the fact we haven't actually had an opportunity to see what Trey can do in the NFL. He played a few games. We saw what he could do in those few games, and yet it wasn't enough to be able to compare him to what Brock Purdy has done thus far. However, I do hopefully hope to see. I do hope to see that Trey does get to play in the near future, whether it be with Dallas or with some other team. Hopefully he'll get his time to shine. In preseason, right, Anthony? He did have his opportunity in preseason to show whether or not he could do better than Brock Purdy, which obviously he couldn't do. But for a fair assessment, let's hope he plays with some team, whether it be Dallas or whoever, and he gets to some time to shine. And he has, the ability to show whether or not he was worth pushing to another team, or should he have had the opportunity to stay in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan and see what he could do. But right now, when it's all said and done, like CC say, who we got playing in the game, he's proved his worth. He's where he is because exactly what I said last year. This man is now in the Super Bowl because I said he was that dude. That dude showed in 9 games last season why he should be the starter this season. And I said that. CC.
I mean, that's true. I think the thing that everybody don't look at is when they say Trey Lance. When we talk about Trey Lance, is we don't look at, you can mention college, you can mention whatever, but the opportunities that he had, he really didn't take advantage of those opportunities
right.
like everybody thought that he would. And even Shanahan, evidently, it was because you don't trade him, you at least keep him as a backup if you really feel that he got something working, right? And he was a draft pick of yours. You saw what happened with the Jets, right? Like we saw the example with the Jets with the Zach Wilson. They brought in Aaron Rodgers, and they didn't want to say it, but they thought that Zach Wilson sitting behind Aaron Rodgers would make his game better, because they didn't want to lose that pick, the second overall pick or whatever they spent on that draft pick. They thought they had something. Maybe if he sit behind Aaron Rodgers a year or two, he'll be better. That was their plan. It didn't work out that way. But what I'm saying is that if San Fran really felt like they had something with Trey Lance, he would have still been on their team. They wouldn't have shipped him.
So I think
also, because they was like, we got what we want. We got the quarterback we want, and we don't need this guy. We don't need no quarterback controversy, pretty much.
And so I would say I get down with that, but it's a little bit different for one with Zach. Let's be honest, he ain't really get the opportunity. He sat behind Aaron Rodgers for a spring practice session or a preseason, and then Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. Now he's not sitting behind him. He's the person, the de facto at that point. In the same aspect, when you look at it for Trey Lance and Brock Purdy, who was Trey Lance going to sit behind? They was both, hell, he was drafted the year ahead of a year ahead of Brock Purdy. So there was no development for Trey Lance in state, especially when you had Garoppolo that was injured and would come back in. I just think that they never. I think that it just wasn't going to work out for them.
But ain't that the game now though? Ain't it the game
Yeah,
now though? Where it's like you gotta develop on your own now. Like there's no quarterback development. There's no development in the league no more. You gotta either come in ready with something or you out of there real quick right now. Like there's no development anymore. Like back in the days, maybe they developed quarterbacks, made them sit 2, 3. I guess development was sitting 2, 3 years behind a veteran or something
yeah.
because now is not like that. Now it's either sink or swim right now. Like especially when you got so many swimming, and then you see the ones that sink. It's not a whole lot, but it's a lot compared to how it used to be, right? Like remember came in as a starter, right? Brady came in to sit. He came in to back up Drew Bledsoe. Think about it. I mean, Peyton Manning came in to start right away, right? He came so as a rookie from then on. He came in like he threw the most interceptions his rookie year, right? Like did he like set a rookie record with interceptions, Peyton Manning, or something like that? So each I think each person is different as far as development. I think Brock was just ready. Maybe college did get him ready, but or maybe he had a chip on his shoulder from being Mr. Irrelevant. But something made Brock way more ready than Trey Lance. I can't
Yeah.
take nothing away from Trey Lance because he got drafted high in the draft, and he'll probably
Someone see something in them.
he gonna get a shot, right? Like if they didn't give up on Baker Mayfield, they're not gonna give up. If they didn't give up on Carson Wentz, you know what I'm saying? Like Trey Lance gonna get a shot somewhere down the line, whether
And
it's
so
with
what?
Dallas, whether it's with somebody else, you know.
And you
I
know what?
totally agree, and I totally agree with that. He's going to get an opportunity. He
Yeah.
didn't come that high in the draft and not get an opportunity. Totally agree.
And what's funny is what you said, just like you said that is in state is the same people who evaluated and drafted Brock Purdy are the same people that evaluated and drafted Trey Lance. So you have to think to some degree there's something there. So I don't know. Does the Cowboys be able to unlock that, or does he go somewhere else and it become unlocked? And now we see, okay, this is why they drafted him. I know Anthony said for me to look in the camera and say what I see, what they seen. They seen a big body mobile quarterback that had a strong arm. And so that's what the scout report was. It just didn't pan out in state. He never really got an opportunity. He had played in spurts in certain packages when Jimmy Garoppolo was the quarterback. And then when he first got his chance, to where they was looking at Jimmy was injured, and they was looking at it was Trey Lance was given the keys. He goes and gets injured within the first 2 games of the season, and then Jimmy Garoppolo.
That might be his setback, right? Like because
That part.
he seems to stay injured a little bit.
Yeah,
on a regular, right?
Right.
And it's extremities at that. What, broken foot, broken. So it's like that. And so that basically became his, like you said, his downfall. They got a chance. Brock Purdy came in, did exactly what he needed to do, and then that was all he wrote. So it sent them on his way. So, but I was looking at that and looking like people really do disrespect Brock Purdy, or am I off in saying that, or is the disrespect out there?
I think it started with you. I think if we talk about disrespect, let's look at like somebody said. I think it was Anthony said, let's look at ourselves in the mirror, because you were the very first one as a 49ers fan that didn't believe in Brock Purdy.
I never said I didn't believe in Brock Purdy.
You had no faith. You disrespected.
They was gonna give Trey Lance his opportunity,
but you disrespected him because that man had earned. He showed why he should have been the starter. There was nothing that showed why you should bench Brock Purdy. Nothing. That was a sign of disrespect. So it started with you first. So therefore, if anybody else,
what you're telling me is, Carson Wentz didn't deserve to come back and be the starter after Nick Foles won the Super Bowl.
No, why?
Because he was injured. He only lost his starting position because he was injured.
Nick Foles carried. He left. He came where Wentz left off.
Where Wentz left off,
and never faltered. So therefore, if you don't fault, do we not remember who was it? Was it Tom Brady who took over for
Brad, was it Brad Johnson? No, not Brad Johnson.
no, what was the quarterback before Tom Brady out of New
Drew Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe. Remember when he took over Drew Bledsoe and did what he did and came out flourishing? And Tom Brady never looked Brady never looked back and became the GOAT. Never looked back and became the GOAT.
So that's true, but what also happened is there was a point in which they went into spring practice, and Bledsoe probably was outplayed by Tom Brady, in which they's like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and keep on with him. But what happened is, in y'all case, Wentz came back and outplayed Foles. Matter of fact,
he outplayed him. I don't think you can say he outplayed him. I think you can just say that Wentz was the quarterback, and they was going back with Wentz one way or another. Because
they was happy with what he had done.
And I think that really hurt Nick Foles' career right there.
I agree.
Man, you win the Super Bowl, you beat the GOAT in the Super Bowl.
That part.
And they want you to go back to being a backup quarterback.
And I think that the biggest difference about that also, CC, is the fact of the matter is, like CC said, they want to go back to Wentz because when Wentz went down, Wentz was having a phenomenal season. Phenomenal season. The difference between Wentz and Trey Lance, Trey wasn't having a phenomenal season.
Yeah, he wasn't playing.
He wasn't playing well. When he was playing, he wasn't playing well. Wentz was playing. Wentz got him to where they were. You know what I'm saying? Now, when Trey Lance, he wasn't playing the best games. He played a few games and he wasn't playing the best. But when Purdy got in, he played phenomenal. He was balling out. So undefeated. Now you have undefeated.
He lost his first game in the championship.
Yeah, against us. Yeah, and then now you like, dang. Why do I
Lance,
yeah.
Hey, Lance, you was making up excuses about the weather and all that.
I'm still keeping the same energy, right?
Yeah.
I have always
you Milli Vanilli it. You blame it on the rain.
Remember I said that I was like, I got drugged for all that type of stuff. What's good, MEB? What's going on? I got drugged for all that, right? The very next time something came up in which Bishop said something about the energy, everyone was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "How the hell is this happening?" When I said something about the weather, I got drugged. But it's still different from even when San Francisco played against Green Bay during the San Francisco. I was like, the weather makes a difference. It really does. It was a torrential downpour. The field was flooded when Trey Lance played against the Chicago Bears.
Both teams playing in the same weather.
Thank you. But no one has an advantage. No one has an advantage.
Someone has a slight advantage because that's like if you play, like if we in a home stadium, we're at home and we're playing in the loudest stadium in the league. True enough. This is my home, right? I mean, it's a loud stadium. Both teams are playing in that loud environment. However, it is more conducive for me to have built some type of to build up the fact that I can play in this environment because it's my home. So of course,
let me tell you the difference in that, Trey. Let me tell you the difference that because of your stadium and we get that's what we call home field advantage, home court advantage, or whatever. But the thing about that in your stadium, when your quarterback gets behind center, guess what? He could calm the crowd. He could put his arms up and say, "Hey, y'all need to be quiet so so our players can hear the count." Listen, he can do that. Can't nobody calm the rain. Can't nobody stop the rain.
I get that, but you still
like CC, everybody's on a fair field. No one's got an advantage. No one has an advantage.
What I'm saying is, I'm not saying you have an advantage, but your only advantage is that you play in this, you practice in this, you live in this. That's the advantage.
Who says they practice in the rain? Who says that?
I'm very sure you go out and practice in the rain.
No, a lot of coaches don't. A lot of coaches want a lot of teams to practice in the rain simply because they don't want them to get injured in that rain. So guess what? They'll practice in the dome. They'll have little practice facilities.
Yeah, bringing the practice bubbles. That's just like practicing in the dome. Yeah. That's just like practicing in the dome. I mean, practice. That's like the Buffalo Bills playing, or Soldier Field, the frozen tundra. Those are expected to be beneficial
favor to the home team. Right.
Because they play in those exterior environments. So
because they come from that cold climate weather. Got it.
San Francisco doesn't play in torrential downpour.
But we're not. This is not Tony. We don't believe in it. Never rains in Southern California. It rains out there. It rains a lot.
It doesn't rain like that though.
So how about y'all put a volcano underneath y'all stuff? Because since y'all always got fires and stuff. Put a hurricane. Put a fire
around. Right now, Cornelius, you went to basic training in Chicago. What was the weather like during that time frame in which you was there?
Oh, it was snowing in April. I had never seen snow. Coming from Texas, Houston, Texas, I never seen snow like that in my life. Like when I got there, push-ups in the snow, it was different.
Okay.
And I'm very sure he can do a PT test better than I can in that environment because I'm going there and it's over. I'm finna be complete no good. I'm failing that PT test as opposed to he's probably gonna be good because he's been there training for a second. So if they had the great military PT test off and they sit up and had it to where they put those people in, if I would have went from basic training in Fort Sill, Oklahoma to compete in Chicago against their sailors that was doing basic training there, I would not have been able to compete because it's not in my environment.
I'm not letting Trey off this. I'm not letting Trey off the line for this. CC, isn't that part of game prep? Don't you prep, being that you know you're going on the road at a certain time of the year because you see the schedule? Isn't that a part of game prep? Shouldn't you probably practice with wet balls? Shouldn't you probably throw wet balls during practice? Because it's a possibility that the balls
they just say pause.
Remember
deflate gate.
These are the things that this as a coach, you have to prepare your team for all type of circumstances. Okay. You have to get your team prepared. If you know you're going to the frozen tundra, put your balls in. No pun intended. Put the footballs in the freezer and let them get hard.
Excuse me. I remember in that Green Bay game. I remember the commentators saying that it looked like San Fran wasn't prepared or they had the right cleats or whatever. They were losing
all of that
on their home field. This is your field though. You at home. Right. You should know which cleats to wear. Like, you should know better than the other team.
Right.
Like, so I didn't understand. I was like, how is that possible when you play there? Like you don't know which cleats to wear.
Right. That's prep.
Shout out Red Dead Vet, showing some love this morning. He said he's going through everyone's feeds and stuff like that. Appreciate it, sir. Yeah. I understand. And you know what? I was sitting thinking the same thing. I was like, how is this a problem right now? And like I said, and when we talked the following day after, I was like, they was missing assignments, they was slipping and falling on the field and stuff like that. I was like, how is this possible? Like, if anyone, I think you talked about that before, even on the basketball court, remember we used to play double dribble, where the sweet spot was on double dribble to where no matter what, you was able to get the shot off and it was going to sit up and be it was going to be water. So you would think it would be the same thing. You go in those certain spots, you don't go in or don't be in because this is your field. So I was feeling a certain type of way looking at it.
I know, right? Like
Brock is going to get his time. Like it's
Brock got his time. Okay. Brock got his time. It's here.
This is Brock's time now.
Right now, it's here.
Yeah.
It's
well,
here.
I mean, so
my question. Since Bishop here, I want to ask the same question again, Trey. I want to know the answer. If the 49ers lose today, where does that put Shanahan? Like, we know Purdy gonna be good, but where does that put Shanahan? Like, he been knocking at the door quite a few times. If he don't get it done this year, then where does that put Shanahan?
That's a good question. We all know about the pedigree in which Shanahan comes from, his father and things of that nature. If he doesn't win, man, it almost puts him It's hard to say, man. It's really hard to say. Kyle Shanahan, he's a good coach, man. He's a good coach, and he's done so much for this 49ers organization. And I just think I feel like if he doesn't win this one, I feel like he'll come back and still fight to try and win one. But it's definitely it puts him in the same boat as the Buffalo Bills on coach the few years they went to the Super Bowl and didn't win. You know what I'm saying? Kept going and couldn't get over the hump. So it pretty much puts him in that same arena. Can he survive a loss today? Yeah, he can survive it. Will it be a something that's going to possibly plague him? Probably something that's going to be on his resume for potentially stopping him or keeping him from Hall of Fame status because of the fact that he's never won the big game. So that's why I see that. But yeah, when you say survive, what do you mean by survive though? Do you mean like will he still be coach? Will he still be in San Francisco?
So,
I think he can still coach.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think
he should survive then. Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is because remember they came in him and you spoke about it earlier about talking about John Lynch. Him and John Lynch came in as a duet into the organization. They got 6-year contracts in which they had to turn the team around. They turned the team around. They got extensions. So I would think it would be hard, even though I don't doubt that John Lynch can make the decision if he felt like he had to get rid of him. But I think it's not at that point yet. Like the San Francisco, since they have taken over minus 2 years, they have been in the thick of it. Even they're going to their second Super Bowl. They've been to 3 NFC Championship games. And then if you think about it, 2 of the years in which they had it, the quarterback was injured, in which they was dismal, and the defense couldn't make it work. So he will be back, and like I said, Mark is saying he will be back. Definitely, he'll be back, but he can survive. I think only specifically because John Lynch. They came into this thing together. John Lynch just got was pushing for executive of the year last year, and they're that tandem. So I think he's good. He can probably get away with another year of not winning the game, but there's going to definitely start to be some side eye and like, what more can we do? Like, what else can we do?
Win it. That's all you can do. Like, for me, you know how I feel about Shanahan. By now, y'all know how I feel about Shanahan. I think if he just play his game, sometimes he'll win. I think he blow games. But I think a lot of coaches blow games too, right? We saw nobody really just wanted to say. Everybody wanted to say Dan Campbell is a great coach, but the second half of that game, he blew that game. The second half of the NFC Championship game, the coach blew that game. Like
he did.
We can put it on the players, whatever, but we know Campbell. And I think the same thing happened to Shanahan when he get in the big game for him, whether it's the NFC Championship game, whether it's the Super Bowl. Like he outcoached himself when it should be, man. Hey, you got the better team. Like today, he got the better team. And
by far.
And if he sticks to his guns, his team should come out on top. But watch him come out with some trick plays. Watch him come out with some stuff that he don't need to do against a team that he already better than. But he does it anyway. Every single year he does it.
So both of y'all are saying
totally agree with.
Both of y'all are saying that San Francisco has the better team. Is it possible? Do you think? Is it possible for the great Patrick Mahomes to be victorious in that aspect?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we had the better team last season. We had the better team.
I'm going for Patrick Mahomes just because he can do
who he is.
He like Brady to me in that respect. He can do more with less. Like he does more with less than the average person does with everything, right?
It's a fear thing. You need to fear PH, man. Patrick Mahomes, P-Mac is gonna do what he gonna do, man. Like CC said, with less, without question, San Francisco has more talent on the sidelines than Kansas City, without question, more talent. However, it's that man, as they like to call him, that bad man in Patrick Mack, who he just finds a way to win games. He finds ways to pull it out when you think there's no way for him to pull this out?
So think about it. Y'all think about it this way. Patrick Mahomes, if he win the Super Bowl this year, think about everybody that he beat to get there. He took Tua out. Everybody was hype on Tua, saying, "Oh, Tua is this, Miami is this." He beat them. Everybody was talking about Josh Allen.
Tyreek Hill. Don't forget add Tyreek Hill to that.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill.
Couldn't do nothing without Tyreek Hill. Yeah.
Who actually said that Tua was better than Patrick Mahomes. Remember
that part? Was like, really? Yeah.
So look at that, and then look at how he took out. Then he took out Josh Allen. Josh Allen was supposed to be, it's his year. Oh, they was playing great ball. He's supposed to be the next. He's supposed to be better than Mahomes or equally good. And then the MVP, Lamar Jackson, who earned the MVP this season. Not saying that
he did not earn the MVP.
Patrick Mahomes would beat all them. So if he beats Brock Purdy,
how does he not earn the MVP, Trey?
How is he be held? He's ninth, 10th. He's ninth, the highest point in anything, all statistical statistical categories, and outside the top 10 in the other ones, and you get the MVP. I don't get that.
Let me explain something to you. Listen to this. What is it called, Trey? What is the award called?
It's called the most valuable player.
Most valuable, not the most statistic player, most valuable player.
But those statistics is what is the benchmark in which you can just say. So basically, you're telling me that the award is an eye test thing, because yes, he was the most valuable player on their team. But when you look at the fact of just like you said, not saying that Brock should have been it, but when you look at that, could San Francisco be in their position where they are if Brock Purdy wasn't not playing?
They weren't. We did last year. He wasn't in that position. Brock Purdy wasn't in that position, and y'all didn't make it.
Well, I'm talking about this year. Like if Brock Purdy wasn't there,
what's the difference in the years though? It's the same thing. You can't go without it. But
so when I look at that, I just think that it wasn't like I don't know what they're gauging off of. No different when you look at how did Myles Garrett
over TJ Watt
statistically. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing you can go off is statistics, because that's what gives you a definitive point.
Go ahead, CC. I know you can get this. Get it.
Well, you got to look at Brock Purdy was not the MVP. It was clearly Lamar Jackson, the most valuable player on the best team. It's a regular season award.
I would have thought it should have went to CMC.
They went 14-3. And if you would have took him off that team, they don't go 14.
They don't go nowhere close.
I don't even think they win 10 games.
That part.
Like if he's not playing on that team, I don't think they win 10 games. Like
that part.
He carried them for most of the season. Like what game did they win without him?
And it goes to what it's just like what they're saying in the West Call. You still had CMC. I would even say Dak. Like Dak had a good season statistically, and he sit up and put them in position to where they was playing in the playoffs. Like
if 12-5 was the benchmark, and all the teams were 12-5, then you got an argument with Dak. But no, 14-3. I mean, we've seen it with Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers won back-to-back MVPs both years. His team was 13-3. They was the best team in the league both years.
Right.
So like it's gonna go to the most valuable player on the team. You know, with the best record.
Right. Because they obviously the quarterback is the best, is the MVP of that team. He has carried that team to that record. And when it's all said and done, I'm not taking anything away from CMC. We could CMC been the MVP? Absolutely. I do feel like he probably could have won the MVP. However, the thing about CMC is he doesn't touch the ball enough to be the MVP, in my opinion. The quarterback touches the ball more than any other player on the field. So therefore, the running back has no decisions, really. Quarterback makes all the decisions on the field. Yes, the quarterback, once he hands the ball off to the running back, he has to make a decision to hit whether he goes left or right, whatever, out in the open field. However, quarterback have to make reads. He has to go through progressions, has to see the field more than anybody else sees the field, without question. He has to see the field more than anybody else sees the field. So it, like everybody say, it's a MVP is a QB award. That's safe to say. That's safe to say. For you to win it as a running back, for you to win it as a wide receiver, to win it as a defensive player, your numbers have to be off the chart. Right. Off the chart. You have to win it. You have to beat Eric Dickerson's rushing record. You have to beat Eric Dickerson's rushing record to receive MVP.
He was the leading rusher in the NFL this year. Plus, he had over 2,000.
Derrick Henry ran for 2,000 yards one year. Was he MVP that season?
No, he was not. He was not.
Has he ever won an MVP?
No, he has
2,000 yards.
No, he has not. The last person I think won MVP and the closest to ever beat Eric Dickerson's record was Adrian Peterson.
Right.
And he won MVP that year. That's the year he won MVP, when he almost beat Eric Dickerson's rushing record out in Minnesota. That 1 year. That was it. But like, if you don't blow, if you ain't having, that's when numbers count. If you want to talk about stats, that's when they count. When you blow everything else out. If you, with Dak having 36 touchdowns for the year, yeah, that's cool. But did he have the record? No. If he had the record for touchdowns for the season, Dak would have won MVP. He probably would have won MVP if he had the touchdowns. He didn't have. He had 36. He led the NFL, but how many quarterbacks was close to 36 touchdowns for the season? Quite a few, if I'm not mistaken. But if for you to win MVP outside of quarterback, your numbers have to be off the chart. Be off the chart.
I think if Tyreek Hill would have set the receiving record, he probably would have been MVP if he would have got that record.
You know what? And I would let me pull this question back first before we go into that. But I don't know how true that goes, because when I look at it, we're talking about I think it's the award is always going to be subjective. The everything's going to be subjective, because in my opinion, I continue to say it, Puka Nacua was Offensive Player of the Year, but because, like we said, in which even Kyle, who
won Offensive Player of the Year?
Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm sorry, Offensive Rookie.
Who won Rookie?
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud. That's right. Okay.
But it's going to what you said. I think even CJ Stroud pointed it out when he was talking in that clip, which I shared, when he's talking about Brock Purdy, is that a quarterback does a lot, and there's a lot that goes into it, because Puka Nacua broke records for offensive rookies this year. He broke a record in which not even that the last year's offensive rookie of the year, who was a wide receiver, didn't do any other stuff in which Puka Nacua done this year, and he won offensive rookie of the year last year. It doesn't make sense. So it
makes sense. It makes sense when you look at, like I already told you. I told you early on that CJ Stroud was going to be rookie of the year, because
I knew that
the impact that he had on that team.
It's the team.
It's the impact that he had on that team.
You talking about a team who was last year?
What was the Rams' record?
Yeah,
What was the Rams' record this year? The impact.
They were a playoff team,
right?
They were a playoff team.
Yeah,
the Texans won a division. They went from worst to first.
That plays a huge. That's the difference. That's the major difference. What CC talking about? That's the biggest difference.
That's the biggest difference right there.
Zero. You took a team that got the first pick last year to a playoff team. Come on, man! That says a lot with a rookie quarterback. Mind you, with a rookie, you did this with a rookie quarterback.
So you say that, right? You say that, right? And it was the only difference is, I mean, I get it. It's because he was a quarterback, because it's the same difference. Like the Rams were not in the playoffs last year. They were in the playoffs this year, but it was built basically.
But they was in the playoffs the year before, though, too. Don't forget.
But yeah, they won the Super Bowl the year before that, I think.
Right.
But
no,
so
was it the year before that? Yeah. Was it the year before that? No.
Yeah. 2 years before that, probably.
2 years before that. Yeah, okay, okay.
So, but when you look at it, it's just like, in which I look at it, Puka Nacua, it was, who knew who Puka Nacua was before?
Nobody did.
No one. Like, the dude, we knew who CJ Stroud was, but we didn't know who Puka Nacua was, and here this dude come out of nowhere.
But that happens.
Most passing yards, most receptions.
Who knew who Brock Purdy was? Who knew who Carson Wentz? Well, who knew
I didn't know who
Carson
Carson Wentz was. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you knew who Carson Wentz was because he won multiple championships and because
you only knew him. You only knew him because you knew him because when he came in, that's what that was his big highlight because of what he did at that college he was at. But no one really knew it. No one knew of Nick Foles. Right. No one knew of a lot of these.
No one I know ever seen a game by North Dakota State.
That part.
No one I know ever seen a game by North Dakota State.
That part. No one knew and that's just it. Yeah, we knew of CJ Stroud because where CJ came from. Yeah. Everybody knew it. So in your defense, Trey, I will say this. Because of that kind of he's already in the spotlight. So everybody's already looking at CJ.
Expecting, yeah.
Yeah, they're already looking at CJ because
they was looking at three people. And let's be honest, Anthony Richardson was pushing him to begin with because Anthony Richardson was the hot quarterback from that draft pass.
He was.
And what's good, LaShannon? And then he got injured. And then everyone, of course, what's his name? Bryce Young never recovered.
Where's Richardson at anyway?
He's recovering from the injury. He had that surgery.
No, but what school? What he's in Indianapolis?
Yeah, he came from Florida.
Oh, yeah, I know who he is. I'm just trying. I forgot all about him. See, forgot all about him. I until you said his name, I was like, oh yeah, I remember him because he was a big name.
First few games, he looked good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, he was looking hella good.
Yeah. Okay, but I forgot. Got injured. That's right. Okay.
So trying to stay within the means of saying to see why we're here. And we know there's two, even though we know the team or what this team expected, or at least I know what the team is expected to win. I bring this question back up. And it goes up for with something which Anthony was saying too. Is Andy Reid a better coach than Kyle Shanahan?
Yes.
I mean,
it's self-explanatory.
Yeah, by far.
He's in his fourth Super Bowl. He's in his fourth Super Bowl, about to possibly could win his third. If we doing numbers, Trey, let's if we doing statistics, kind of outweighs the other. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I say he is.
Yeah, I agree. I think Andy Reid is a better coach right now.
Okay.
11. We just talked about it, right? 11 conference championships. Only second behind Bill Belichick, like 11 conference championships.
That part right there.
So, all right, okay, I'll give you that. So, what happens if Kyle Shanahan outcoaches Andy Reid today?
He won't outcoach him.
Yeah, he won't outcoach him. I mean, you got a better team. Your team can outplay him, but you won't outcoach him.
You won't outcoach him.
You won't outcoach him.
You will not. He might play his like he said. That part what CC said, but you won't outcoach him.
You won't outcoach him.
That won't happen.
All you can do is mess it up if you try to outcoach him. Don't try to outcoach him. See, that's what I say about Shanahan right there. That's the problem right there. That's the problem.
You just said it. You did.
That's the problem.
Did. Play your game. Quit trying to outcoach that man. Play your game.
Right.
Play your game. Don't try to outcoach him. Do your part. Don't try to outcoach him.
So now looking back on it, was he probably smart to let Eric Bieniemy go?
He knew Eric Bieniemy. Look, he gave Eric Bieniemy a chance to shine, man. Like, get from under my shadow. Quit saying it's Andy Reid offense. Go prove that you can do something on your own, right? And we see how that works out for Eric Bieniemy. If I was Eric Bieniemy, you see he already having talks. I hear he already talking to Kansas City again. Go back to Kansas City. It's a Belichick effect, right? Go back when he was the winner. Like, for real. That's it, man. It's Andy Reid. Andy Reid is a mastermind. Take nothing away from Eric Bieniemy. He earned his name as far as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But without Andy Reid, was it the same with Rivera? No, it wasn't the same, right? Like, Howell put up some good numbers, though. Howell did put up some good numbers.
Yeah.
Like Howell put up some good numbers for what, a second, third year quarterback or whatever. But no, Eric Bieniemy belongs in Kansas City if he wants to flourish. Like, you're not gonna get a head coaching crack. Sorry, Kate. So So Andy Reid said, "Go and see what you can do on your own without me." But Andy Reid already knew who he was. Like
Right.
this ain't his first rodeo. He did the same thing in Philly.
He did. He did. He did. I just hate that he didn't have the opportunity to win a championship for us. I do. And that's why I'm so happy. I like Andy Reid because I like his coaching style. I like everything about Andy Reid. I hated when we got rid of Andy Reid. I never thought Andy Reid was our problem in Philly. I never did. Never did think Andy Reid was. And then for him to go to Philly and go to Kansas City and have done the things in which he's done, working on his third Super Bowl win in Kansas City, speaks volumes about Andy Reid, of who he is as a coach. Like he's next, like CC said, he's right there. He's knocking on Bill Belichick's door as one of the best coaches ever to coach the game.
You know what? Speaking of coaches, CC, you need to come to San Antonio so you can get under our coaching tree. Saying we're getting ready to run. We're getting ready to run it back. Hopefully, so you should be in San Antonio so you can get under, join a great coaching squad. And as we look to slowly but surely, step by step, build a juggernaut in the NFL flag
legacy. Yes. Yeah.
So, but
I don't know if Trey told you, but we did some things for flag football for the youth, man. We made some things happen. We did the unseen. People didn't think we could do it, and we made it happen, man. We made it happen.
And it's funny saying that, right? Do you think the coaches, let's say particular Kyle Shanahan, because he's been in a situation not once but twice, do you think the coaches get into it to where once something starts happening, they start to think and doubt and be like, oh man, here we go. In that sense, because for us, I can only speak for that from that standpoint and thinking about what Kyle Shanahan went through with the Atlanta debacle, and then of course the breakdown in San Francisco against Kansas City. It went from a high horse to a low point and then those low points, like the low points in which I talk about, is getting drugged by like 50 to like 20 to 30, 24, 30 points in, against two teams in which you're going to go see the next week, following week, because the tournament was coming up. So I wonder, does it go to the point to where you have to start thinking like, it's one thing to talk that talk and be like, you know what, but it's another thing to be like, oh man, like what are we going to do? So when it comes down to it, do you think coaches, the pros, do that same thing?
No doubt. Look at Belichick, man. Belichick look like he ain't slept in 20 years. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it comes with a price, right? You want to be the best with your craft.
You do.
Look, he's not the only one, right? When you see Kyle Shanahan do interviews, man, he's so serious. Like he don't crack smiles. He get mad at the reporters real easily. I mean, it's a serious game, so it's some doubt there. It's some doubt. Like, can I get it done? Are we gonna get it done? Did I call the right plays? I mean, think about Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell said, like after that game, he said, "Hey, I'm sticking by every call I've made." Now, when he get home, he gonna probably be second guessing himself. You know what I'm saying? But
absolutely.
For appearances, he gotta say, "Hey, I stuck by every call I made in that game." But it's gonna eat him up inside.
Because you got to take ownership. Yeah, you got to take ownership. You got to take ownership for what your players done. You know what I'm saying? When it came to me and Trey for the championship game for our flag football team, man. Yeah, we took some bad L's leading into the championship. We took some bad L's, but we knew we was gonna see those two teams again, and we knew the two teams that beat us were the two teams that we was gonna have to play again. They tried to throw a monkey wrench in the playoff in the game by flipping who we were supposed to play first. So we getting ready to prepare ourselves to play one team, and then they come up to us right after the game was about to start and say, "Oh no, you're not playing that team. You're finna play this team." Oh wow! Now, as coaches, we like, "Oh man, we got to re-game plan," because that's not we was game planning for the players in which we knew who were threats, so forth and so on. Of course, in the NFL, they don't have that. They don't switch games around like that. However, you still game plan for what you seen the last time. So my question to you, Craig, or Trey and CC, is this: Kyle Shanahan is going up against Andy Reid again. They knew what happened the last outcome in which they saw Casey. when you game plan, do you go away from completely? Do you completely flip your game plan from the last time you played them, or do you just simply work on the areas that you saw was weak and just work on and focus on making those areas better, or do you just come out completely in the biggest game of the season and flip the whole script and try and show them something totally different than what you showed them the last time you met?
No, I don't. If I'm Shanahan, I don't flip it. I come out last time. Your advantage the last time is gonna be your advantage this time. Your running game. The
Okay.
last time you were able to run the ball on them effectively. If you watch the Chiefs this year, most teams you can move the ball on them running. It don't translate to
Right.
points on the scoreboard because they get tighter when you get into the red zone. But you
Right.
can run the ball from
On
the
the
20
Chiefs.
to the 20. You can run it on
Right.
the Chiefs. So all you got to do then is use your play action effectively. You know what I'm saying? And make sure Purdy on point with the passes. Um, I felt like in that last time that they met, the reason why I put it on Shanahan is that you was running them over 3-4 yards a pop every time you ran the ball. And then in
Mm-hmm.
the most crucial point of the game, when all you needed was a first down or two to run out your best play ever, which wasn't even needed. It wasn't even needed. You didn't need to throw that deep pass downfield. You had the game won. You was leading. You was winning the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a clock management thing. So I think
Mm-hmm.
if he manages the clock this time and actually use Christian McCaffrey the right way, he shouldn't have no problem. But like I said, Shanahan got a habit of that's how he got Brock Purdy hurt last year, right? He went
Mm-hmm.
away from his game plan.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of coming out first couple of plays, CMC all the way, baby. Let's establish this run game right off the rip. What does he do? He try to throw a pass right off the rip, get his quarterback taken out the game already. You messing up the game plan, man. Stick to your
Mm-hmm.
game plan.
Yeah.
Stick to your game plan.
So I would say that. So I would say that basically you kind of you take in consideration what it was because again, as y'all just talked about, Andy Reid, a good tactician. You look at the game plan that they had last time. You take that in consideration, and you look at okay, what can I do that's going to help us and keeping on your strong points, like you said. If the run was dominant, you look at what their defense was. Other teams was able to run. Take in consideration, you have Christian McCaffrey compared to other teams that might have had Miles Sanders or something like that, and what they did, and you staple that and you continue on, but you also take in consideration what they did because at some point it's going to come down to they're going to try to look at what you did and that was effective. I'm very sure they've been looking at your tape to see what you do that's effective, to see how they can take away, what they can take away from watching certain lineups and stuff like that, to sit up and see how you operate. So I think it's a little bit of both that you have to basically utilize and know that and have some in your back pocket. So when it comes down to, okay, they're stuffing us on the run, they're loading the box up. Is that just a look? Or of course, there's going to be play actions. I mean, there's going to be motions to see are they in man, are they or are they in zone? What are they doing? They might be in a man zone, but at least if someone goes with my receiver that okay, they're probably in man zone. Or like break it down so that way okay, this is what we're looking at. They're stuffing the box, or are they really stuffing the box? Are they dropping back in coverages? And of course, doing it so it's going to be who can mask that or who's going to be best at doing that. And so I think it's good to have a little bit of both and take in consideration because in-state, what they did last year is different, or what 2 years ago in the Super Bowl, because they've only seen them once since then. And then so I think the in-state, that's what I would do. Look at both, a little bit of both. And as the game progresses and goes along, then we're going to sit up and see where I'm going to go. Am I going to go with my bread and butter, or am I going to try to catch them slipping, which might add to what Cornelius is saying.
But what is considered y'all bread?
Coach.
What is considered y'all bread and butter, though, Trey, for San Francisco? What is y'all's bread and butter? In your opinion, what is considered
our strongest point is running behind that bad man on the left corner.
Okay.
Williams, right?
Trent Williams.
Yeah, Trent Williams and CMC.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and a couple of end arounds to who. That's coming every day.
Again, running off that bad man on the corner.
So let me ask y'all this then. I'm glad you said that, CC, and I'm gonna hit you first, CC. For San Francisco to win, Who has to have a breakout game to win for San Francisco?
For San Francisco to win, I think I ain't gonna say you got to have a breakout game, but I think Christian McCaffrey got to be steady. If he gets you 80 plus yards, you know, if he can touch it 20 times, whether running or passing, and he can get you 80 plus scrimmage yards, I think you're gonna be doing well. For me, it's Ayuk. It's Ayuk and what's the other receiver? That's not Debo. Um,
Jennings.
Jennings or whatever that came up big. It's gonna be for me. It's gonna be Ayuk because you're gonna get a lot of Spagnola, man. You know he's gonna give you a lot of one-on-one matchups. He trusts his. He got the best cornerbacks in the game in
In
my
the
opinion
league.
right now.
Yeah.
Those dudes are playing. So he gonna trust those dudes to lock down receivers or whatever. So if Ayuk can win his matchup, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt Kansas City.
You Trey, who has to have a breakout game for San Francisco to be victorious in the Super Bowl?
I'm going to go with the other side of the ball. I think it needs to be someone that it needs to be a disruptor that no one is taking a look at right now because of whatever. So we're talking about someone that that is going to be a problem. That's going to cause problems defensively to where it's going to be like, damn, we didn't even account for this person. And I think in that case, it'll even be someone that can play into it. And both, neither one of them are initially starters that get burned, and that's Taco or Young. Mm-hmm. One of them two. If they be disruptors, because you got to think Young has some atoning to do, because on the tape it said he lacked effort during this Detroit game. Or well, it said a lot of them lacked effort during the Detroit game, but of course Chase Young was getting the most slack for it. So if he can come outside of Solomon and Bosa and Hargrave and be a disruptor to where it's like we didn't account for him, and now they're saying where now everyone else is getting it off, that's going to turn the tide. And whether we all know defense wins ball games, offense sells tickets. And then you're saying we just happen, if you do that along, then what CC was just talking about, now you have it to where Christian McCaffrey's cooking, Debo with the end arounds, going everything off of Williams. Williams is pushing back. You got Juszczyk that's and Kittle that are working the intermediates and getting caught out the backfield and stuff like that. And next you know, you're hearing people call juice. At that, once that ball starts going, that ball starts rolling downhill. It's an avalanche at the bottom of that, and that's where we become victorious.
Okay, so now flip it. CC, who has to be the breakout individual for KC, being that they don't have the weapons San Francisco has? So who has to be that breakout player for Kansas City to be victorious once again and be back-to-back Super Bowl champions?
I don't think they necessarily need a breakout player because they got that man over there, Mahomes. But I am going to say Rice. To me, it's going to be the receive Rice or whatever because, you know, the 49ers going to try to take Kelsey away. They're going to do a good job of trying to take Kelsey away. So I think Rice, he's going to have to catch more passes. I expect him to catch more passes in the Super Bowl than he had to catch probably combined in the 3 games leading up to it.
Wow. Trey, what do you think?
The person who I'm dreading right now of being a problem for us is Isaiah Pacheco. I look at that pounding the ball. Just what we talked about Christian McCaffrey. Pacheco has the ability to. He might not be able to do it, you know what I'm saying? Because again, like we said, we know the defense, the 49 defense is that. But of course, in my opinion, what Pacheco could do is force them to have to play up towards the line to stop his power running, which of course what happens when they play up above the line. Now you give opportunity for Mahomes to be able to work over the top. And who's over the top with the linebackers playing up? Now it makes a problem because now someone has to cover Kelsey and be able to keep him at bay. And now that starts to cause a problem. So, and I say Pacheco, but Hilaire could be a problematic as well. I don't know if McKinnon's going to play. He was, he was problematic. He's a good a receiver out the backfield. So I guess you could say if their running back room is clicking, then we might have problems.
That's fair, man. That's fair. That's fair. So if San Francisco wins, who's MVP, Trey?
Christian McCaffrey. Oh, correction. That would be the common sense one, unless Brock is basically playing like we said, if he's playing. But the expectation is anyone in state is going to be a quarterback. It's going to be Christian McCaffrey or Patrick Mahomes initially in my thought, but it's going to really depend on who is who's doing what they need to do to put them in position. What's good, Eric? What's going on, fam? So but to answer the question, I would say it's going to be Brock Purdy, although it's probably going to belong to Christian McCaffrey, but I would go with Brock Purdy as a quarterback.
CC, who's the MVP for KC if they win?
For KC, if they win, if not Patrick Mahomes, it's gonna be Travis Kelce. I say Travis Kelce just because he probably gonna catch. If they score 4 touchdowns, he probably gonna catch all 4 of them. Like in the red zone, he hard to stop. Like we seen that before, right? The dude caught what 3 or 4 touchdown passes in the game and only had like 15 yards or something. You know what I'm saying? But he caught like 3 or 4 touchdowns. So I say Travis Kelce.
So I'm gonna say this:
Taylor Swift gonna be in the building too. The Swifties gonna be in the building.
I was about to say
Kelce.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Taylor Swift gonna be MVP. But anyway, anywho, real quick. But it's crazy you say that because and this is for CC. You say Travis Kelce, but if Kansas City does exactly what you say with Rice, why wouldn't he be MVP?
Oh, nah, he ain't gonna give it to him.
Because
it's happening. They're
gonna give it.
Receivers get him now.
They get the MVP, but Travis Kelce gonna get. Like I said, he gonna score the touchdown. Like Rice, you gonna do the other work.
He gonna put the yards in. He ain't gonna get in the end zone. Rice put the yards in. He ain't gonna get in the end zone.
It's gonna be like all the individual is get on the 1 yard lines, like give it to well, of course we know Pete Carroll didn't do that, but it's gonna be like do all that work and then give it to
Pacheco.
You know, like Dallas, like how we did with Zeke last year when we had Zeke, like run Pollard all the way up the field and then
give it to Zeke. Let Zeke get all the reward. Yeah. That's what's up, man. I so real quick, who you got winning, CC?
Oh, Kansas City. Mahomes.
Okay. What's the score?
But Mahomes.
You got a score for us?
Yeah, I got a score. It's gonna be like 31-30, somewhere in there.
It's gonna be like that. We know who you picking, Trey, but let's see who you got winning and what's your score.
I have the San Francisco 49ers winning.
Okay.
And the score I have at 31-34.
Okay. So of course for me, I have Kansas City winning until somebody can beat that guy over there, man. And P Mac, man, it's just hard for me to go against him. I think it's gonna be a dogfight. I do think it's gonna be a close game, but I think Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City, Andy Reid gonna come out on top once again, and I think it's gonna be a score of like 28-27, something like that. It's gonna be something small. It ain't gonna be no blowout or nothing like that. It's gonna be so everybody taking the over 47.5 points.
That's the score.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna. Oh, he said over. Yeah, over.
Yeah, over. Yeah. I think it's gonna be like that. I think KC gonna pull it out. But it's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be on. It's anybody's ball game. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm in front of the TV. I'm being there for it. Hopefully we'll see a great game.
So I think I did ask you, CC. Of course, if you want, you could give it. What's the X factors in this game?
The X factor is gonna be the 49ers defense. What they do with Patrick Mahomes, like you know, he real deadly if you got him scrambling. So my opinion is, hey, make him run. Like if you make him run, eliminate that scramble, and just make him have to just choose to run the ball. I think you got a better chance of winning than you do and letting him run all over the yard and pick you apart with passes. So find a way for you to get pressure on him. I think Bosa and Young and Hargrave and all those dudes you was naming, they should be focused on making Patrick Mahomes a runner because you got the linebackers fast enough to get there and make the plays. But if you let them pick you apart, you're gonna lose. You can't let them just pick you apart with the arm.
I have to agree with CC. It's definitely going to be San Francisco's defense. They have to do something. I totally agree with. And the thing is, like CC said, when you force Patrick to run, He find ways to get down the field. But the thing about that, as the game goes along, if they force him to continue to run out of the pocket, it's going to take discipline by the San Francisco's defense to not find themselves pursuing Patrick when he runs. Because once he gets past, as long as he stays behind that line of scrimmage, that ball can get downfield. And Patrick will find a way to get that ball downfield, some way, form, or fashion. So, Patrick, if you can get him out the pocket, have him scramble, but force him to keep the ball. Do not allow him to release that ball for no way, form, or fashion. Because if he releases that ball, he's gonna find ways to make plays happen, and it's gonna cut you deep. It's gonna cut you real deep.
So, as I sit and look, everyone's Kansas City, Kansas City, Kansas City, Kansas City, Kansas City, Kansas City, Kansas City. So when I see this, right, what it puts me in the mind of is San Francisco. Hear me, San Fran. I need y'all to hear me. San Fran, I need you to get this W, because if not, it's going to be a long Monday morning for me. So I need y'all.
Aren't y'all favored though to win?
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
I think it's 1.5 or something like that.
San Fran, don't listen to him, because as a Cowboy fan, you got to stay tied 5-5.
Yeah, I know that's why. I know that's why a lot of Cowboy fans want San Francisco to lose.
So
you know, that 6-1. Yeah.
I need y'all to get that dub, because if not, it's going to be a long Monday morning. Just you know, say I know people was waiting for me covered when Detroit was when Green Bay was hanging around. I was like, I know they waiting for me. When Detroit was up on us, I was like, I know they waiting on me.
Detroit should have won that game. Detroit should have won.
I ain't gonna say nothing. But I saw a picture of somebody that was worried in the Detroit game. I would keep it 100.
Yeah. I'll keep it 100. If I was worried, I would say, "Yo, man, they gonna say like that, pinky things, like woo." You gonna say like I wasn't worried at that point, because I was like, you know, saying because so what y'all have to realize, right? In people's game is I don't never, for one, I don't make wagers or talk mess unless I think I have my odds are good, or even they're saying remotely somewhere or it's even. I wasn't worried because it's like it's too early. It was like the second quarter. I was like, we're not now. We have been in the third quarter. This was going on. It might have been a different story, but I was like, it's the second quarter. I was like, this is what
they say a picture worth 1,000 words, and they all say worried. like, is it 1,000 synonyms for worried?
Worried. That was him. But you better be worried about this game. You better be worried about this one. If you ain't worried about if you weren't worried about that one, you better be worried about this one. For real. Because I'm telling you now, it's Patrick finna give you a reason to worry.
No, I think we're gonna be good. I think Purdy's gonna finally get an opportunity to slay. But you know what I'm saying? Will this diminish the conversation with Purdy if he gets a W? Do you think it turns the tide of the conversation if he gets a W?
Conversation of what? What's the
conversation? Talk about his validity as a top tier quarterback.
He already a top tier quarterback, man.
Without question, in my opinion, yeah. I'm agreeing with CC. Yeah, go ahead, CC.
I'm not on the Cam Newton. I'm not on the Cam Newton bandwagon as far as the whole game manager
in the game.
Is there a problem? Is there a problem with being a game manager?
You have to be both, bro. You have to be both. I don't even think there's a difference. You have to be both. Because when it comes down to it, like CC said earlier about managing the game, you got to switch roles. You a game changer, and then at the end, you have to be a game manager to seal the deal. I don't feel like there's a two-sided. No, it's the same thing. You game change in the beginning and you game manage at the end. That's just me.
That's all it is. You got to be well-rounded.
Because what we saw against Detroit was a game changer. Them runs, if it wasn't for them runs.
Oh, you talking about Brock? Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't for them runs, it might have been a different story. You might be talking about Detroit. Those were game changing. Those were game changing plays.
Yeah, facts. Straight facts.
And that's what you need when you need it, right? But like I was saying, you saw how everybody else tried to be something that they not that time. As long as Brock Purdy can avoid that and not try to match Mahomes throw for throw, like we saw Josh Allen try to do late in the game, like we saw Lamar Jackson try to do most of the game. Stop trying to match this guy and go out there and play your game. Like I'm sure Shanahan and let Purdy. I'm sure that has sunk in already for Purdy. Man, just go out there and play your game. Don't worry about trying to match Patrick Mahomes. Do what you do best, and we can win this game.
What quarterback do you think has more pressure? Is it Brock or Pat?
Brock Purdy, without question. Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes has already showed what he's capable of doing. He has 2 under his belt. What pressure does he have?
He playing for legend. He playing for legendary status. He just
that's it. He just boosted it. That's it. He's solidifying his Hall of Fame jacket. That's all he's doing.
Right.
That's all he's
Purdy
doing.
Wants to go from. Look at this storyline for Purdy. Mr. Irrelevant to Super Bowl champion.
That part.
2 seasons.
That part right there. That part right there. So he definitely has way more pressure than Patrick. He has something to prove. Patrick don't. If Patrick loses today, this evening, he has nothing. He has no reason to hang his head or nothing. He has 2 on his mantle, and he still got plenty of time to work for Mo. Patrick has nothing to worry about. But Brock, Mr. Irrelevant, he has a lot. It's a lot on his shoulders. A lot of people. He got picked last. Come on, man. And now you in the Super Bowl 2 years after. That's a huge weight on you. Everybody looking at you.
As a 49er fan, don't you get tired of comments like that, though, that you was just showing on the screen? Like, anybody could be the 49ers quarterback. No, they can't. Who have you won with? Haven't won. You won regular season games with, and you won some playoff games with Garoppolo only. Before Brock Purdy. I mean, what are we talking about?
So when you look at it, because you got to take in consideration the 49ers, except for, which we talked about the other day, except for Mike Singletary, except for which one was it? Which one of the brothers was it that was the quarter? I can't even think of his name right now. But except for certain aspects, it has always been the same West Coast offense, where we really haven't had people, strong arm guys that push the ball down the field. But we had tacticians again, Kyle Shanahan, Harbaugh, that have brought people in place. Like, I knew about Colin Kaepernick because I watched West Coast football, and I knew about him in Nevada, and I seen him play some pretty good games in Nevada. So when they picked him up, and he finally got his opportunity, it was like, okay, saying this is what's up. So, but I think it's, saying it's just as unfair to say that basically we have a system. It's like almost being called a system team, to where you can plug and play. And that has not been the case, because after we went to the Super Bowl the next year, where was all those injuries was a detriment to us, and we was 6-10 or whatever case like that, or something like that. And then the following year, now we're back at it again. Like, yes, we have weapons, have been put together. We have an all-pro tackle, all-pro consistent, all-pro fullback, consistent, all-pro running back now, like Christian McCaffrey. You got to think Christian only played 2 years in San Francisco. So, prior to that, we was doing the running back by committee, where is it a system in which it built that? Because you got to think Mossert, he was a 49er quarterback, and Jeff Wilson III, he was a 49er running back. And then we sent them both out, and then here comes Elijah Mitchell, who was the running back prior to us getting CMC, and now they're the 1-2 punch. So I'm like CC. I don't agree with Wayne, because I don't feel like anybody could be the quarterback in San Francisco. I don't agree with that. Brock Purdy, he asked, could Brock Purdy would we be having the same conversation if Brock Purdy was in Chicago? We know Chicago don't have a line. So Brock Purdy probably would have been doing the same thing in which, Fields was doing in Chicago. So, but I don't, because if that's the case, that's the same thing we could say about Dallas. Could any quarterback be the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys? We don't know.
We don't. And that's the thing. We don't know. We have no idea. But this is the thing. What you're saying, Wayne, I hear what you're saying. But guess what? Trey Lance had an opportunity. He couldn't be the quarterback for San Francisco. He had his opportunity. He couldn't be the quarterback. He couldn't do it. He couldn't cut the mustard. They shipped him out. Like Trey said, how many quarterbacks have been in San Francisco and hasn't been able to get over the hump? So I personally don't agree to that. No, just because they have a lot of talent don't mean you can come in there and do what you need to do as a quarterback. There's still a lot that we all know. There's a lot that comes with being behind the center as a professional quarterback. It's not just about reads. It's not about, and it's how fast you read. A lot of people don't know when it comes to reading defense, it's how fast you read it. Because like Trey said a minute ago, defense can disguise and make you think it's one thing, and as soon as that ball snaps, it's something totally different. But it's up to you to be able to read it as soon as it happens. All quarterbacks can't do that. All quarterbacks can't do that. Brock Purdy is good at that. He's good at it. You've heard a lot of analysts say Brock Purdy reads defenses very well and very quickly. That's why he's able. P-Mac, he's able to do that very quickly. Very quickly. All quarterbacks can't do that. So I don't agree with what Wayne's saying in that aspect.
So we have the point to where now we have just shifting a little bit. I hate the fact I gotta go to work today, but so listen, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I was just I caught a glimpse of the Hall of Famers going and getting the
it's a good class this year.
Yeah, of course. We're saying let's go, Patrick Willis. You know, what I'm saying representing.
Yeah, good class. Good class.
So, in which they all got it. Everyone pulled up. Edgerrin James pulling up, telling, getting the word out.
Andre Johnson got it.
Yes, we're not gonna talk about that, but yeah,
he deserved to be there. You don't think Andre Johnson deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
We just had this conversation the other day, and I was on the fence, but I was like, his numbers, like 70 touchdowns,
14,000 yards receiving, like that's Hall of Fame.
I don't know. Like,
is he? So okay, let me go to this real quick. Is the Hall of Fame about numbers, or is it about your
contribution?
Your contribution too, but your presence within the league on how you play the game.
I think
not so much numbers, but how you play the game.
Go ahead. It's a combination of both, right?
Okay.
Right. I think it's a combination of I think it's more about your impact and how you change. That's what I'm saying. So how did like I don't see where Andre Johnson really changed the game as much. I mean, the guy the other day, I like what he said as far as him getting catching all those passes from all those different quarterbacks and not having a good quarterback. So if that's what we're going off of, then I'm with that. But for me, he got mediocre numbers and didn't really achieve a whole lot.
But at one point, wasn't he one of the most prolific wide receivers in the league?
I mean, like 2-3 years. Like I look at it like 2-3 years. I mean, when I look at the receivers though, really receivers are hard to gauge. But look at what Mike Evans is doing, right? Nobody's ever done it before. So if he don't make first ballot Hall of Fame, something wrong, right? I mean, but that's what he's doing. He's doing something that nobody else has done ever. You know what I mean? Like, look at what Tyreek Hill is doing, right? Like, by the time he does, if he stay on the pace that he on, his years might not be up there with Jerry Rice, but his yardage is gonna be somewhere up there with Jerry Rice.
Right.
Played all those. So I'm just saying, like, the impact of the game, right? Like, we know what Calvin Johnson did to the game. Is Calvin Johnson is Andre Johnson in the same vein as Calvin Johnson? I mean, in y'all opinion?
No, Calvin Johnson, in my opinion, is definitely better than Andre Johnson. In my opinion, he's definitely better. Because of but Andre, I don't know. For me, I guess Andre, I just feel like Andre was that prolific type of receiver at one point where he was a guy, who was considered a huge threat when he came down to it for the team, for Houston, when you faced Houston, you knew if you don't put somebody or double team Andre, he could be a person who could hurt you bad in a game. So that's why I feel Andre Johnson was someone within the league. Is there somebody like well, you compared him, CC, to Calvin Johnson, which I like I said, I don't even think that's even fair because Calvin is definitely better than Andre. But I don't know. I mean, when it comes to the Hall of Fame, man, it's so debatable and questionable about certain players getting in. It's like it's crazy. And is this his first? Is he a first ballot?
No, he was a first ballot.
No, okay.
He been retired a while.
The only first ballot was I think Julius Peppers,
which is deserving.
Yeah, I think Julius Peppers was the only first ballot. But you know what? Which came to mind? Damn! It just that quick. It slipped. That thought slipped. But of course, now next year, some notable names. Next year, Vernon Davis, Clay Matthews, Terrell Suggs, Joe Staley, Marshall Yandall, Ryan Khalil, Adam Vinatieri, Luke Kuechly, Earl Thomas, Eli Manning, Marshawn Lynch, Aqib Talib are some notable names. Eli, yeah. Eli's up.
I thought Eli was already in. He ain't in?
No. Peyton is.
I was like, I don't know.
Eli.
I was about to say.
I don't know. Don't he got he got 2 Super Bowls, right?
He got 2 Super Bowls. I mean, but it seems like, what's his winning percentage as a quarterback?
And then he didn't play as long as he didn't play as long as his brother, right? He played less.
Yeah, he played less years.
So his brother has what? 3 Super Bowls? 2 Super Bowls?
2. They both got 2 Super Bowls.
They both got 2, but his brother has 2 Super Bowls.
I think first 3 or 4 should go in. He has 2 Super Bowls.
His brother has 2 Super Bowls with separate teams, correct?
Right.
Who? Peyton. Yeah, Peyton has 1 with Denver and 1 with Indianapolis.
And then he went what, 3 times?
Peyton?
Yeah.
I think he went 3 or 4.
He went twice with Indianapolis and once with
Did Peyton got 2 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
Because I thought Eli.
Super Bowls. No, Peyton won 1 at the end of his career, right?
Yeah, he went with Denver.
I thought one of them had more than the other.
Nah, they both got 2.
They both got 2? Okay. Yeah.
Peyton won in Denver and he won in Indianapolis.
I knew he won in Denver and Indianapolis. I for some reason I felt like Eli had more, but okay.
But he went twice. He went twice in Indianapolis because they
he did.
The New Orleans.
Right. He went he went they lost to New Orleans in the right after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I don't know about either. But I would say in the first 3 or 4 that you named, yes, I feel like those individuals probably deserve to be in the hall.
Yeah, it's always a slippery slope. I
get
confused on
confused
on what they measure. What's the measurements nowadays? And I agree with the old saying that Deion Sanders said, man, like they gonna have to put upstairs and downstairs, like to separate. You know, like they should have tiers. Right now, you have to start having steps or something to the Hall of Fame, like because all them dudes not on the same level, in my opinion.
Facts.
You know, like,
facts. I agree with that too. 100%. Everybody, I feel like they I'm sure they got some type of criteria. We just don't know what it is. However, I feel like it's something that, certain people can't be on the same level as others. Like Tom Brady is now the epitome of all quarterbacks when it's like for you, like Tom Brady's up there before the Joe Montanas, before any of the other quarterbacks now. Tom Brady is the top Hall of Fame quarterback of all time. You know what I'm saying? But then you do put Joe. I don't even know who else you would put up there with him. Oh, I guess you could put the Wait, who else got multiple?
It ain't many, huh?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
you look
Like,
at
multiple
who
what
else?
appearances or multiple?
No, Super Bowls.
you got a few that got, you know, like, because when you start
Three.
looking at it,
Who got more? Who got three or more outside of Tom Brady and
Troy
Joe?
Aikman got 3.
Okay, Troy. That's who I was thinking about. Troy Aikman.
Troy
He
Aikman,
can go.
and Terry Bradshaw got
Bradshaw. That's
4,
it. That's
right? Bradshaw got 4.
Terry. Them folk. That's it. That's that like CC. That's that step. That's the top step for quarterbacks. Now up there. Then everybody else is below them. Everybody else is below them because everybody else got 3 or less, or not even 3, 2 or less. You know what I'm saying? 2 or less. Patrick. Oh no! If Patrick win today, he go up there. He go up there. He win today, he go up there. If Pat win today, he go up there. But everybody else is below them 4, 5, however many it is, 5. And I think that's how it should be. Like CC said, I think that's how it should be for all of them. Running backs, you know, wide. But then again, it's hard to say that though, CC, because we're talking about Super Bowls. You don't even have to win a Super Bowl to even get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, my measurement is simple. Like when I'm saying the tiers, is like Deion Sanders is way better than
Top tier
what
corner
was
of
his
all
name?
time.
What was his name on the list you just said? Ateeb Kweli. What was his name?
Quali.
Yeah,
Way better. Definitely
yeah,
better.
like hey, way better. But
Absolutely.
yet they're gonna end up in the same Hall of Fame with the same.
Right.
I mean,
I
that's
see
what I'm
what you're
saying
saying.
about different steps. Like,
Yeah.
got to be levels to it some way, somehow, right? Like,
Right. Absolutely. Without question. Yeah. Those type. Yeah. If that's the case, I've Hall of Fame Super Bowl winners, not Hall of Fame non-Super Bowl winners. You know what I'm saying? Those who have never won a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
So
you know,
going back a little back into the Super Bowl because we get at some point we gotta get ready to go because I have to go.
Somebody got to go to work. Yeah.
So, so Usher is the halftime show, right?
Mm-hmm. Giving us extra 15 minutes of show time too. He said he's giving us an extra 15 minutes. But go ahead.
Is it? I'm no bias whatsoever, but is not a couple of things. Why you smiling?
Because I know it's gonna be some nonsense. But go ahead.
Is not the Dr. Dre, Snoop, Eminem, and Mary J. Blige Super Bowl halftime not the best Super Bowl show currently in this era?
No.
What?
No.
Whose is better?
Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. You got to see a nipple.
So you have to walk off after that.
We got to see a nipple. I'm just saying. Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson. We got to see a nipple.
And then I go further to say, will Usher's halftime show be better than that in your opinion?
It'll probably be one of the best.
It's gonna be better than that Rihanna show we got last year. No disrespect to Rihanna, but she was pregnant and she was lip syncing. It'll be better than that.
It was still. I liked Rihanna's last year though, even though she was
pregnant.
pregnant.
She was lip syncing and she was pregnant. So, like, it kind of made a difference. But yeah, I think Usher gonna be better. Actually, I thought the Dr. Dre one was great.
That was a good one. I ain't gonna lie.
Hip hop on the show.
Yeah, that was a good
without
one.
it being like Maroon 5 bringing out Big Boy from Outkast and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like them actually getting on the show. So that's cool with the NFL. But man, it's Usher. You know he gonna put on a show at 40 something years old. He's still gonna, he gonna put on a good show.
Yeah, Usher gonna be. Yeah, Usher. It's definitely gonna be a great show. I think it's gonna be an amazing show. I just feel like just be prepared because they say he's gonna have some special appearances. So just as long as they don't bring Taylor Swift down, just leave Taylor where she is. I'm good.
Hopefully he allows Sweetie to pull up.
I know, right? Hopefully he allows what?
E40 and Sweetie to pull up.
No, I think they might say Taylor for 60. Just 58. So 2 years from now, it'll be Taylor Swift.
It'd be Taylor Swift. Yeah. You right.
Will there ever be a better rendition of the national anthem than Whitney? Or is that going to be?
I haven't heard one. Have you heard one?
Probably not.
I haven't heard one.
Is there anyone out there that you think can do it?
Yes. I was just about to say there's only a couple of people who could probably pull it off. That's Jennifer Hudson, that's Fantasia, and that's probably Kiki White.
I was about to say, don't leave my girl out. Kiki.
Yeah, Kiki White is probably one of the three. Those are the three who could probably come out there and rip that joker up and be like, dang, she on the level of Whitney.
But so in saying that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree that they have to sing it regular without all the riffing and all that type of stuff? Or do they have to stick to
They have to make it their own. They got to make it their own.
That's what I'm saying. You got to do your thing.
They got to make it their own.
That's what makes the song, right? You got to own the song. Like,
they got to own the song. Yeah. They got to own the song. They do. I totally agree. Yeah. They have to own it.
I mean, God rest his soul. Can you imagine Luther singing the national anthem, making it his own?
Absolutely. I could see that. I could see that.
I'm
surprised. Who's singing it tonight?
Like I seen it from Marvin Gaye. You know?
That too. Marvin would have told
his own thing.
Who is singing the national anthem tonight?
I ain't heard who's singing it tonight.
Is it Reba? No, I don't think it's Reba.
I don't know. I ain't heard who's singing it tonight. I'm surprised they ain't got Taylor doing it, but she's out of the country, so that's why she. But I wouldn't be surprised if they had tried to get her to do it. But yeah.
Post Malone. No, he's singing America the Beautiful.
Oh, I was going to say, Post Malone.
No, he can sing.
Man.
It's Reba.
Reba McEntire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Post Malone is singing America the Beautiful, and Andre Day is singing Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Okay. It should be a good time for halftime show. I ain't gonna lie. It's gonna be a good, and everybody's looking forward to these the Super Bowl commercials. You know, this is the time to see all the new movies about to come out. You know, all these commercials. So it's, I think past few years though the commercials have been kind of whack. But hopefully this year, they bring back some good ones, and hopefully we see some good previews of some trailers of some upcoming movies that's about to come out. That's what I look forward to seeing.
We had to chop that up in the morning too. See, the best commercial.
Commercial.
Yeah.
Well, CC, I don't know if you're gonna be able to do that. Chop up on him because he might if they lose.
Like the biggest, it's like the biggest. It's a bigger holiday than some of the other holidays.
That part.
Unlike
the military, and like the military, in the military, certain places where you at, depending on where you are, they give you Monday off.
So depending on, unlike other people in which we know, if win or lose, I'm pulling up. Now
I pull up. I know you ain't talking about me. I know you ain't talking about me.
I didn't say did I say any days?
I just know you ain't talking about me. I'm just putting it out there. I know you ain't talking about me. I'm gonna pull up. That's what I do.
I just hope we win because I could imagine how they coming out if we lose.
Well, you've been lucky thus far. You know what I'm saying? Luck. Hey, sometimes it takes luck to win too.
Yeah, it does because that IU catch was luck because that was the interception.
Yeah, but we've seen it before, right?
He said
it goes back to the immaculate reception, right? Like where in today's times, everybody said if they had replay back then, that would have been an incomplete pass or whatever.
Yeah, I remember
but
that.
It takes some luck, right? Like remember we were talking about what's his name, Tyree with the catch off the helmet in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes it takes some luck to make some plays.
That part, it do. It do.
Do y'all think is any validity to the script writing?
What as far as what? Like, what do you mean?
I don't think so.
Oh, you talking about
WWE, man? Like,
oh, well, if that's the case, you talking about script writing? If you let everybody tell it, it was supposed to be Kansas City and Baltimore. Yeah, Baltimore. Yeah, Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore and San Francisco in the Super Bowl because of the colors of Super Bowl.
Right. I just can't see it because injuries have an impact on games. Like in the middle of the game, somebody injured, or
Right.
I can't see a script writer, you know, like so they wrote that Debo was gonna hurt his shoulder in a couple of games
In the
back or
script.
whatever.
Yeah, in the
You
script.
know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, I don't get a whole script writing thing. A lot of plays.
Right.
Um,
I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. I mean, it looks good. It calls for debate, but nah. Yeah, you missed me with that one.
I mean, now for me, it might change things if they got rid of referees and stuff like that in the game, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
definitely.
because now they have the technology to
Right.
look at every play from every angle and not have officials on the field making calls the way that they do, right? But they still
Right.
rely on the officials to go under the hood to make the calls on the field themselves without telling them what calls to make and all that stuff. Like they can control all that nowadays, right? With the
Right.
technology, they
Right.
still choose to use the human element. As long as we choose to use the human element, no script.
Yeah.
That's an interesting concept. What's good, Mr. Richardson? How you doing, brother? I have to come through your office another time, sometime this week. But yeah, that's interesting. Interesting that you say that because if they remove, I mean, I don't know. I think there still has to be some subjectiveness, and there still needs to be because one, we don't even have rules are black and white for the most part, so it still would be subjective because someone still has to say, okay, that was the right call or whatever case like that. But that would be interesting if they had it to where the officials was on the court, on the field, and the calls were being made based off of what the angles are and stuff like that. But someone still has to make that call. And I think that's where the human element is going to always come in. That someone has to, even information has to be input into a computer before the computer can do the computations. But that would be interesting.
I'm just saying, would you need the side judges and all them? You know, you wouldn't need all that, right? You would just need
Some
an
person
official
that,
with a whistle.
okay, I get
You
what
know, I mean, you feel what I'm saying? To say, hey, this flag was this, the call came from New York, and this was the call right here. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, if they wanted to, they can make games that way, but they keep the human element in it for a reason. I love it. Don't change it for me. Like, don't take
Right.
away the human element.
That part.
Like, you know, like some of those refs, they gonna take a whole lot of heat when they make the wrong call, right? Like,
Right.
but that's a part of the game. Like, you take that out, then I think you can start saying, hey, they gonna start scripting games once they get rid of the officials and stuff like that.
yeah, that could be here.
Yeah. That part. Facts. Straight facts.
So, of course, there y'all have it. We was looking greatly appreciated for y'all that tapped in this morning and see. I'm very sure throughout the day you can sit up and catch any of us on social media, across Facebook or whatever case like that, posting stuff, talking about it. I don't know how active I will be, but I will try to have some type of activity so that way it doesn't come out that, okay, Trey was quiet because they was losing or Trey was quiet until they start winning. Like, I want to try to keep consistency, but of course I will be at work. I got a couple of things I got to do there while I'm there for these tech students, so that way they can have an experience as well while they're at home being trained to be in the fight. So before we get out of here, gentlemen, any last words on today's game?
Yeah, for me, Patrick Mahomes, add another one to your legacy. Like add one more to your legacy, um, so we can officially put you in that category of the Joe Montanas and all the rest of them. Put you on that next level. Get number 3.
So before you go, Bishop, hold up. It's funny how he wants Patrick Mahomes in that next level. You know what I'm saying? Presumably with Troy Aikman and stuff like that, but he doesn't want the funny Niners to be, to get in the next level with everyone else. You see how that works? See how that goes?
Hey, one is for the culture.
It is Black
The
History
other is
Month.
just straight hate because you know where our team is saying we 5-5, baby.
Yeah, I
The
want
other
that
one's
seat.
just straight hate.
Yeah. For me, man, it's Black History Month, so I'm rooting for Pat. Let go, Pat. You know what I'm saying? Pat Mac, let's get it. I'm just looking for a great game. We know, Kansas City was their last year, so this will be back to back for PC, Pat Mac. But yeah, man, let's just hope San Francisco comes and plays a great game and gives Patrick Mahomes a reason to want to even play better. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to everything. I appreciate y'all having me on the show once again, man. It's been a minute. I love seeing all of y'all, man. Thanks. A shout out for everybody that gave shouts out to me, man. And keep doing what y'all doing, man.
And of course, for me, y'all know what it is. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Y'all know where to find us, especially tomorrow morning. I'm going to be here, rain, sleet, or snow. Win or loss, I'm pulling up. So, you know what I'm saying? So, even the Boo Birds going to come out and y'all going to I'm going to bring it, take it all in, or y'all going to listen to me, in which I'm still going to be respectful. I'm going to keep the same energy in which I've always been having, because the ideal is we've been there before, so I want to act like we've been there before. There's no reason to do anything else. So, like I said, tomorrow, 09, y'all know what it is. Win or loss, we're going to talk about it and break down, talk about the commercials, talking about the game, and catch a whole vibe as usual. So, until then, greatly appreciate y'all tapping in this morning. See y'all tomorrow morning as the Super Bowl 58 world champion San Francisco 49ers. It has been spoken. It will be written. When you wish upon a star, it's no different who you are.
This ain't Disney.
49ers are this ain't Disney. What are you going to do next? We're going to Disneyland.
No.
Peace.
Y'all have a good one, man.